Hello, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Happy New Year's Eve.
Same to you. Same to you.
Where are you in the world?
I am in Dallas now.
Okay. So I guess that makes sense. You're Central Time, hence us scheduling this time on the call. All right, so I've had a day of calls. I appreciate you taking my call. I'm really wanting to wrap everybody up before tomorrow and just, leave 2020 where it's at.
I hear you.
So I had 8 more people that I hadn't got on their schedule, so I appreciate you taking the time. All right,
No problem.
so we're going to take 15 minutes just to debrief. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right, so how was it?
It was a time. I actually enjoyed it. A lot of the parents that I usually have didn't want to participate, which is understandable during this year. But it actually turned out quite nice. I had bonding time with just my husband and I delivering the gifts.
Tell him I said thank you, by the way. Love seeing him in the photos.
Right. Well, he was the photographer this time. He's not the best photographer, but he did the job that he needed to do. And I had my daughter help me stream the video together to kind of get it to the different pieces of footage together. So it was a learning experience for me.
Yeah, it was for everybody.
Yeah.
I like the fact what I got from it was that you did this video of preparation and then the actual drop off. Was that done on the same day or was that Friday and Saturday?
It was the drop off was on Friday, and then I did my video of just giving my message out on Saturday. So all the preparation, I took all the dolls with me to Phoenix and packed them up and then put them together with my husband and daughter, and then we gave them out all in the same day. But a lot of the neighborhoods in Phoenix, most of the neighborhoods in Phoenix don't have like a out the door mailbox, like where the mailman comes and drops them off individually.
Right.
So the other option was meeting them at the mailbox, but then that would be close contact. So I just let them know that I was on the way, put it on the porch, and then let them pick it up at their leisure. So that's what we ended up having to do for the mailbox drop off. So it worked out.
Were these new girls or were these returning? I know that you said in the beginning that some moms didn't want to, but were you mostly new or mostly vintage?
They were mostly vintage girls, and then they had friends who had heard about it. So
okay, cool. Good.
Some houses, I dropped off 2 packages, even though there was, there may have been 2 sisters there or one friend there and one of the vintage girls. So it just depended on who it was, but mostly they were girls who had been to parties before.
Awesome. And I know that you were one of the veterans that wasn't feeling it because you were one of the veterans that always throw these fabulous in-person parties. So I know that the digital thing wasn't your game, but in the end, as you said, you actually enjoyed it. What surprised you most?
What surprised me most? Well, I think thinking about it now, especially with me moving to Dallas and then still doing the party in Phoenix, it would have been so much more stressful for me to try to coordinate a location in Phoenix, try to get everything picture perfect like I like it, and coordinate people. It just would have been, even if it wasn't COVID, but then I don't know if I would have been moving. There's so many ifs in there. But I think it just would have been too much for me to try to coordinate from afar and have it turn out like I usually have it. So in the end, I ended up liking the drop off and seeing the photos of the girls, surprised at home. It was hard to get the videos back from the parents. I didn't get all the videos back from the parents that I wanted, but I don't have control of that. So
no, you don't. That's always the challenge. Is getting just organizing people.
I'm sure you know. You know well a lot of that. You know a lot of that.
I do. Which is why I knew that, what I was trying to communicate to everyone was that if once you embrace it, that's the beauty of 2020 is you don't have to, the people management is lessened. But when you start, asking people, particularly in 2020, to do something else, moms now are kindergarten teachers and
I know,
bus drivers and maids.
I know.
Everybody's staying at home doing so much. What was your low point in this year in planning your party?
The low point was, I think for me, it was having to ask the parents I don't feel like it was after the fact. I guess maybe I should have known we would need those releases earlier, but I had, already told them, yes, you're fine, and then having to ask them, oh, I need this release, so that I can put your daughter's picture online, and then having to do that push. That was my fault because I thought I had extra time, but I needed to kind of push them to get it. And I think that 3 or 4 day time span, I needed to get them to do it. But I think going forward, just to remedy that, I will ask for a release or a signature release, whether I need it or not, since we have them now, just going forward, so I don't have to do it at the last minute. The last minute things don't tend to work for me. So it was a learning experience, and I think that was probably my low point.
Yeah. Paperwork is everybody's low point, across the board. There's not been one phone call that I didn't take in debriefing for people to say their low point was paperwork. We will look at, paperwork was different this year in that everybody individually had to have it, whereas before it was a matter of posting it on a wall and saying, past this point, you release.
Right.
So that's definitely something that I will look at in terms of what we can do to automate it. Maybe there's there's some ideas that we have on the table that we can look. Maybe it comes out of the hands of you all, and there's a place that they can go to get it, submit online, maybe, just to make it easier, more seamless, so that it's not such a headache. Because although you've taken responsibility in saying, I could have done it a little easier, I think there was a miscommunication. It sounds like on everybody's part in terms of when it was due, when I said, addressed it initially, when it got posted in the dollhouse, just all around communication
right.
in terms of paperwork. So.
And I think I usually do like a pre-check to say, would you like to participate this year? And then, if it's available when we do our call in July, if for the parents who say yes, if I could have it then, and I could say, if you'd like to participate, RSVP, and also, here's where you sign a release. That would be helpful too.
Yeah. If
you have it available by then, but.
No, that's a great idea. And then that way, because for me, that was a learning thing for me, because I just assume, 14 years into this, obviously, the longer you do it, the easier it becomes to pull Christmas out of the attic. But I was actually surprised to hear so many people having to gather baby dolls. And I was like, database, speed dial, and email. And so I was surprised that so many people were having to start all over. Yes, everybody had the mom saying we're going to opt out this year because COVID or whatever. But just I just realizing that I needed to do a better job of saying, hey, when you throw these parties every year, make sure you're creating a database. Because I just assumed that every year y'all were going to the same people, and come July you were communicating with your people and saying, hey, get ready for December. Because that's what we do. And so,
absolutely. I I wouldn't know any. I mean, I don't have kids that are that small, so I don't know, other than keeping a database or friends who have, small ones, or or a Girl Scout troop, or they teach. There would be no way for me to interact or find children, So I
meant from a like, for instance, the girls that you had last year. In the photo, all of those girls, do you have their mom's emails and contacts?
Yes, their emails, addresses, contact information. I have it all in like a spreadsheet.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to get on the same page. So when you say what you need from me in July, as a suggestion, as a pre-check, so that you can go to those people. If you already have those people, can you not go to them? What kept you from going to them in July if you had them from last year for this year? I mean, I know this year was different because,
Oh no, I had them from July. I'm saying if and you said you didn't know either, if I had the photo release, the actual form that they needed to sign. So when I say, hey, do you want to RSVP, I can just give it to them in July.
I see what you're saying. I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. Okay, cool. Perfect. Okay, how was your scale of 1 to 10? How would you rate your ambassador?
Oh, Ellen, she's a 10. She's a 10. She's so caring. She followed up with us. She kept us on track. She kept me on track. I know I had weeks, even outside of doll stuff, where I was just like, Ellen, this is a lot. I'm having, with COVID and being in the medical field, I was able to talk to her on that level, just outside of doll stuff. Ellen is a 10. And my own mother is named Ellen, so that was just a plus for me.
Aww.
So Ellen is a 10, and I hope I could be on her team again, or she was amazing.
Well, we thank you. She will hear this, so I would say I relay it to her, but she'll hear it straight from you. But one of the things that, after the debriefing, what's important to me is to hear everybody's feedback. I have my idea of how I want things run, but I know that this has been such a beautiful movement because of the collection of opinion and people. I'd like to have everybody sort of switch it up, which is the way we've always done, is, have different coaches, because different coaches coach in different ways. And there's always a coach that's going to move your body in a different direction. But then so we've always switched it up. What I'm hearing this year is great feedback from, the Christmas ambassadors about their ambassadors. So something to consider in terms of what's best for all parties involved. And how we'll operate that. So I don't know how that'll work. But it's good feedback to hear that it's working.
Yes.
It's working. Scale of 1 to 10, how'd your mama doll do, and what would you suggest she does to get her shit together?
Of course, you are always a 10 in my book, and the only suggestion I would have is if there's any documentation that we need to get back from the parents, if we could have that early, if you're aware that we need it. So whatever you can do to get those in, that's the only thing.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it. Will you return next year?
I will, of course.
Yay. And I haven't been quiet about this. Your parties are always, if this was a real estate company and we were going to have showrooms of dollhouses, yours would be lot number 1 in terms of what we would show to the public for, what our dollhouse community is all about. You do such a beautiful job. You're a publicist's dream. You take the vision and then you add your own black doll magic to it with, the pomp and circumstance that is Kina. So I do thank you for that. It's remarkable every year. How we proceed next year, I will sit down and certainly keep your in-person parties in mind, as well as how we can take what COVID gave us and that was lemons, and incorporate the lemonade that you all made. I think it would be a disservice to discount the opportunity in digital marketing, because at the end of the day, it is different from having, pulling out a chair for a little girl in your living room. But there's also something to be said about me being able to go to your parties on Zoom and talking to those little girls. There's and the reach of replay of people's videos is huge. So, while you're entertaining everybody in your neighborhood, mom from across the pond is at your party. So that's the sweet spot I've got to find, and I really appreciate you giving me your time so that I can go to my drawing board and figure out how to make us better. I promised you all a gift from Mattel. Mattel and I got together and said we're going to give you all the 2020 holiday Barbie. There will be a gift coming. It's not going to be the holiday Barbie. Mattel said to me, "Hey, Mama Doll, how about this doll?" And I said, "Yeah, I think that's a good one." Commemorating 2020. And then I made the mistake of sharing that with you all and putting it on the internet, and it became an item that they couldn't give me to the tune of how many I needed. With largest consumer group of black dolls, you put a doll out there, it's going to sell. And so there's policies of that I just should have been aware of, but I wasn't. We live, we learn. We are going to have a gift coming to you all. It's going to be a good one. I know what it is, but I've got to get it confirmed. And Mattel and the Barbie brand is on holiday until the first week of April, or of January. They wish. Returning January 4th to be specific. So once I get a memo on that and I actually have them in my hot little doll hands, then we will get those out to y'all. And
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you still keeping the movement going. 2019, I was nervous that you were going to say, well, we're wrapping it all up, but I'm so glad that you're keeping it going. Everyone loves it. My friends love donating dolls to me. I thank you for keeping it going and for letting me participate. I really appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome, and thank you for being one of the reasons I kept it going.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'll let you get to your multiple calls. If you need anything, if there's any other input I could give, I'm here.
I appreciate it. Be safe tonight. Happy New Year, and I will see you in the dollhouse in 2021.
All right. Same to you. Good night.
Thanks. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.